So now let's start with the fat-soluble vitamins. Now, fat-soluble vitamins again are vitamins A, D, E, and K. They dissolve in the fat tissues in your body. Now, because these vitamins can be stored in the fats in your body, they do not need regular replacement. As a result of that, you can actually easily have too much of these vitamins because it can store in your body, and because of that, that can lead to toxicity. Now, the first fat-soluble vitamin we'll look at is vitamin A. The functions of vitamin A, the most important ones to remember are these two, that they can form visual purple, which is a pigment in the retina of your eye, which allows you to see in dim light. So if you look at this picture of your eyeball, the retina is at the back of your eyeball over here. Now, when you have enough vitamin A, you can form this pigment called visual purple. So say, for example, you're in a bright room and the lights are suddenly turned out. When that happens, the visual purple will actually help you to adjust in the dark light so you can actually see sort of in the dim light. Now, if you didn't have enough vitamin A, your eyes wouldn't adjust, and so you wouldn't be able to see in dim light anymore. It would just be very dark. So that's what vitamin A helps you to do. All right, the second function of vitamin A is to help form and maintain healthy skin. So that's why vitamin A is put a lot into skincare creams, like the ones that you have for your hand. So like if you see this example over here, it's a moisturizing cream, moisturizing hand cream, and you can see that they put in vitamin A over here. Okay, third function of vitamin A, it helps to provide you resistance to infections. It also helps for growth and development of your body, and also helps to act as an antioxidant. What you need to remember at least is the first two of these functions. Now, where do you get vitamin A from? You actually get it from liver, you get it from milk, fish oils, and egg yolk. Now, you remember these two, liver and egg yolk, because that is where you get a lot of your fat-soluble vitamins from. Now, vitamin A is quite special. It also comes in this form called beta-carotene. Now, beta-carotene is the form of vitamin A that is found in red, yellow, and orange-colored fruit and vegetables. So it's what it's called a precursor. So when you get the vitamin A from these vegetables, your body is able to convert the beta-carotene into vitamin A. Vitamin A, as it says here, has very strong, powerful antioxidant properties, and that helps to prevent against certain cancers and cardiovascular diseases. Okay, now what happens if you don't have enough vitamin A? In children, it results in poor growth. And because vitamin A is needed for healthy skin, you actually get dry and rough skin. So you notice that the functions of the vitamin actually are related to the deficiency symptoms, because, of course, if you're not going to get enough of the vitamin, then the function is compromised. So when you don't have enough vitamin A, because it forms that visual purple, you also will get night blindness, where you cannot see in the night. Now, if you have a very severe deficiency of vitamin A, it actually can lead to blindness, which is what happens to a lot of children in third world countries. Okay, on the other hand, what happens if you have too much vitamin A? You can have all these symptoms. You can have fatigue, painful joints, birth defects in babies, nausea, diarrhea, liver and nervous system damage. You can get hair loss, and you can also, again, get skin disorders. And I gave you that example in class about the polar bear, about the person who was lost in I think it was the South Pole, and he came across a polar bear, and polar bear liver is really high in vitamin A, and so he ended up eating it and getting these toxicity symptoms and dying. Okay, next fat-soluble vitamin is vitamin D. It's also known as cholecalciferol. Main thing is to just remember that it's vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is very strongly linked to the mineral calcium and also the mineral phosphorus. Vitamin D is needed for you to actually absorb calcium and phosphorus, and all these three are needed to form strong bones and teeth. If you don't get them from if you don't get your vitamin D from food sources, your skin can actually produce vitamin D when it absorbs sunlight. That's something interesting to note. You're almost like a plant, that can produce chlorophyll when you're exposed to the sun. Now, where do you get vitamin D from? Again, notice that you're going to get vitamin D from liver and egg yolk. But you also get vitamin D from other, fatty sort of foods such as oily fish, from whole fat milk. Of course, you're not going to get vitamin D in low fat milk because the fat's been taken out. You get vitamin D from cheese, and here is sunlight. But sunlight, please note, is not a food source, okay? So there again, egg yolk and liver. Now what happens if you don't get enough vitamin D? Because you need vitamin D to form strong bones and teeth, you're going to get weak bones and teeth from not having enough vitamin D. In children, it's called rickets. Rickets is when you have soft and weak bones, and in children it results in bowed legs. So if you see this picture over here, you notice that their legs aren't straight, they're sort of curved. So that's a sign of rickets. These children, because their bones don't grow properly, they also get stunted growth. Now in adults, if their bones are already formed properly in childhood, but as an adult, if you don't get enough vitamin D, you get this thing called osteomalacia. Now osteo means bone. That means bone here. And when you don't have enough vitamin D, osteomalacia is actually softening and weakening of bones in adults. Okay, if you have too much vitamin D, on the other hand, which can occur due to having too much calcium supplements, you get this thing called hypercalcemia. Now, hyper means a lot, so a lot of calcium. And that causes the hardening of the arteries and organs, because the calcium is actually deposited in your arteries and organs, such as your liver and your kidneys. All right, vitamin E is the next one, also known as tocopherol. Now, vitamin E is an antioxidant, so some oil manufacturers, they'll actually add vitamin E into oils to stop the oils from going rancid. So instead of the fats getting oxidized, it's actually the vitamin E that gets oxidized within the oil. Now, vitamin E also helps to maintain healthy nerves and muscles. Where do you get vitamin E from? Again, you're going to see it's from liver and egg yolk. But other than these two, you get them from vegetable oil, you get them from nuts, which are very high in fats, and you also get them from whole grain foods such as brown bread, okay, wholemeal bread. Okay, if you don't have enough vitamin E, you can get rupturing of your red blood cells. Rupturing just means breaking. And this breaking of the red blood cells is known as hemolysis. And when you don't have enough red blood cells, it results in this thing called anemia. And you can also get nerve disease. Okay, on the other hand, if you have too much vitamin E, you will not be able to absorb vitamin K very well into your body. Okay, last fat-soluble vitamin is vitamin K, naphthoquinone. Now vitamin K, you can remember it as clot, spelt with a K. Oops, clot. And you need vitamin K for normal blood clotting. Where do you get vitamin K from? Again, it's liver, but this time no egg yolks. Oops, so this is the wrong picture here. Ignore that. Okay, you can also get vitamin K from vegetable oils, legumes, and green leafy vegetables. Good one to remember. Green leafy vegetables has a lot of good vitamins in it. Vitamin K is also produced by the bacteria that lives in your large intestine. Okay, but the ones to remember here are liver and green leafy vegetables. All right, if you don't have enough vitamin K, because it's needed for blood clotting, then what's going to happen is that when you get a wound, it's not going to stop bleeding, so you won't be able to, your blood won't clot properly. Vitamin K toxicity is quite rare, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and that's the end of fat-soluble vitamins.